Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions video. And summer Elsirelle stats are live on War of the Visions Calc JP side. So we're going to take a look at those. And I'm going to tell you right now why I think she's not a unit you should just like hard pass on. We're going to talk about her skills, her stats, all of the things we always talk about in these preview videos. Let's get to that right now. Okay, now first things first, if you're part of the hashtag Stay Strong Nation and your whole account has been building up for Final Fantasy VII and you have this pile of Viz, don't blow your Viz before Final Fantasy VII. If your whole plan has been, hey, I'm all in for FF7, stay there, you're fine. However, Swimsuit Elsi is a great unit who's going to have a lot of staying power in this game. So don't just don't disregard her if you've been thinking about it. I think she is a good investment, and we're going to talk about why. Second thing, if you need some Vizior to pick her up, consider using the Amazon coin affiliate link down in the description. Great way to support the channel. I had to work that in there a little bit right after I told a bunch of people not to pull, which is perhaps an interesting marketing strategy that I should maybe not employ. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's talk about summer Elsirelle. And I want to start with her stats. Now that we've seen her stats, I'm going to put those on the screen, and we're going to compare her to a couple of other mages. One of them being Luelle, the other one being Mont. We're comparing her to Luelle because these are the two mages that have the same main job, and we can check out how their stats compare to each other. And then Mont being the other water mage that we have in the game at 120, and being kind of the opposite side of a coin from Luelle, where Mont is very, very anti-magic based, Elsirelle, very, very anti-physical. Okay, so let's look at HP first. 3,600 on Elsi, 3,500 on Luelle, and 3,100 on Mont. So Elsi has a nice big HP pool to work with. Among the large things on this character, her HP pool is one of them. Another large thing she's working with is her magic at 530. That is more than Mont by about 15 and only 2 under, it's 2 under Mont and 15 more. God, Mont's name just trips me up all the time. Anyway, you can compare the magic stats right there. She's right in line with both of these very, very hard-hitting mages. Agility, she's 1 more than Luelle, she's 1 less than Mont. That's pretty cool. And then they're all move 3, jump 1. Note, though, that summer Elsirelle has 14 base defense and 2 base spirit. That is a better defensive stat line than either of the other 2 mages before you start working in their support abilities or anything like that. Summer Elsi also bringing 30 fire resistance. 30. That's huge. That's a big time fire resistance buff that she's bringing into this to her stats. Now, it's been pointed out by some people that she doesn't have any slash resist and she's -5 to magic. So that can look a little scary at first, but I want you guys to keep in mind, slash resistance is one of the easiest resistances to build in this game. And Siren, being one of Swimsuit Elsirelle's most obvious espers, packs a bunch of slash resist in it, and we're going to show off some builds for that a little bit later. Luelle, on the other hand, you see Luelle's resistances, and then Mont is anti-magic, so of course Mont's going to have more magic resist than Swimsuit Elsi, and I do think those units can work really well together in a team. Like I said, we will show that all off later. Anyway, there's her stats. You see what she's working with, and this is a great stat pool. Now, let's move on to look at her skills, her TMR, and all that stuff next. Alright, so here she is. You can see main job Scholar with sub job Paladin and Kodadama Wielder. Fantastic sub job selection there. Let's take a look though at the Blessing Ribbon. This is her TMR, and is it actually any good? It's an accessory with 280 HP, 10 defense, and 35 magic. Really just kind of an okay stat line. Nothing great there. However, I do think the TMR skill on this is very interesting. A nice AoE based heal that heals for 210%. This is essentially like Curaga on a TMR. I think that's pretty nice. It only has 1 cast, so it's not something where you're going to be able to just slap this on any mage. And in fact, let's look at who can equip this. If we click on the item here, it's basically equipable by any magic using unit. So it gives access to 1 heal to any of these jobs, and it's a good heal. So I think this TMR is good, but I don't think it's game-breakingly good. Let's go on to look at her skills though, because that's going to tell us a little bit more about the unit than just like, yo, what her jobs are. We need to see what her jobs bring to the table. Now, you might hear Baby J. Baby J's chilling in here with me right now. Let me put my camera back on the screen. Okay, so apparently my excitement for Swimsuit Elsi has woken up the one and only Baby J. So he's going to be sitting with me. If you hear some grunting noises, he grunts sometimes. So let's get to the skills though. Let's look at what makes Summer Elsi what she is. First of all, you can immediately see with these first two that she is so good against physical attackers. She has two support abilities that can boost her defense. One of them comes with more HP in Paladin's Blessing. The other one comes with more accuracy. Both of those are pretty good. Then let's look at preliminary chanting here that upgrades into concentrating chanting. It gives spirit penetration with that upgrade, so that's pretty nice. And it upgrades another skill that we'll see in a little bit and reduces her casting time by 300. Baby J thinks that is hilarious. You might hear him laughing. She also has access to magic power up and then Blessing of Fire Spirit. If you really want to stack that fire resistance and add a little more spirit to her kit, that's a good option too. What about her counter abilities? Okay, counter logos. This is just magic counter. Paladin's Guard, that's a big physical damage cut if it procs, so that's really nice. And then the body is like a moment iron. What a translation that is. This is all damage with a chance to just reduce it by 30%. So I think you're probably going to run either Paladin Guard or that third one there, the iron body one. Paladin Guard if you're going specifically only against physical units, the bottom one if you're going against mixed damage teams. Okay, what about her main job? What kind of scholar skills? Oh, buddy. Okay. So she has the basic attack Magic Ball, right? This is just like the little orb that you've seen the well throw out. It's essentially just an auto attack replacer for 12 AP, does decent damage, has good range, so we all know what that is. Then, Law of Solidity. This is another buff that increases her defense and very importantly, increases defense debuff resistance by 100%. So if you're stacking defense on this girl, they're not going to be able to penetrate it. She's going to get that cut to physical attacks guaranteed from her defense. The higher you get that defense, the more effective she's going to be against physical units. This is huge, and the AI likes to use that buff, at least on Luelle. Then she has Watercolors. This is an AoE buff based around her. Buffs her water attack by 25 for her and her allies. And interestingly, increases evocation gauge boost and single target resist for 3 turns. Really good buff, and you can get this chick's water attack to the moon, and I'll show you off some builds here in a little bit. Baby J's pretty excited if you can tell. Then, she has Rockfall Sucking Method. This is Law of Geo-Absorption renamed. You can see it upgrades to reduce counter attack proccing by 100% for 3 turns for the target. Really, really good move there, and has a nice big AoE on it. This is a absolute S tier move. Healing Law Flash, which upgrades through that passive ability, is a line-based AoE that reduces healing power. That's pretty nice. And then her job level 25 skill, Armor and Shield Law, is a buff that is a 30% physical damage shield with Protect. I'm telling you guys right now, against physical units, like Luelle is already really good against physical units, Summer Elsi is going to be like Luelle on steroids, and I almost hate using that on steroids analogy. She's going to rock physical units, and the fact that she's water, there's really good water people to pair her with. Let's keep looking though. Let's go down a little bit more. Scholar, her Scholar subjob, Speed Reading. This is a CT up with activation time down. You're probably not running Scholar sub though. She also has another single target attack that's a single target attack that also decreases the unit's attack. That's okay. Let's get to the interesting subjobs though, namely Paladin and Kodadama Wielder. Paladin first. Most important thing, Immortal Fighting Spirit. She has the Courage buff. This is huge, so you can build her to be super, super good against physical units, and say Black Rose Helena one-shots her or two-shots her. She's going to survive that damage once with that buff. That's really nice. She also has Sentinel, which is a good move. She has a Tracked Blade. If you wanted to run her as like a physical tank that's a defense tank, I think there's a world where that might work okay. Think about like Killfay back in the day, etc. She has Blade Bash. This is important because it gives her access to Saintly Heal as well, which being a magic unit will be a nice big heal for her, I think. We can't actually look. Then she has Sentinel, which is more defense and spirit for 1 turn. A really good skill for manual PvP. Okay, last up, let's look at Kodadama Wielder here. Scroll it down a bit. There we go. Kodadama Wielder. It's going to give her the move jump +1, which will be good for some maps. Like, I don't know that you're going to run anything but Paladin most of the time, but if you do run Kodo Wielder, you do get the move and jump +1, and you get more 100% hit. Now, you might be like, why did you say more 100% hit? You haven't talked about any 100% hit yet. Well, my friends, we have not talked about the limit break yet. Down here at the bottom, there it is. Big AoE limit break, right? Look at the AoE on this. It's huge. 100% hit chance and decreases AP. Good night, Big Daddy Zazan. Good night, Kitone. Good night, evasion units. You're going to get rocked by this. And if you really want a runner specifically against evasion teams, you have the rest of the Kodadama Wielder sub-job to think about. Now, if it sounded like I was fighting it a little bit while recording that, well, look at Baby J's bald spot. He's got kind of a big bald spot on the back of his head. And I'm really seeing that now as I'm looking at the cameras myself. Anyway, I want to move on next and show off some team comps that I've put together, just like off the top of my head, that I think really highlight how good of a unit Summer Elsirelle is going to be. Alright, now, check out this comp I threw together real quick. Again, this is on the team builder over on War of the Visions Calc JP. I went with a Summer Elsirelle, a Moore, and a Titus build to really lean into the water buffs and the water vision cards because there's so many good water vision cards out there. So let's check it out. Let's go down a little bit to the skills. Let's start though with the vision cards. I'm going Siren for water attack up. I'm going Moore's vision card for the magic booster, and I'm having Titus just run his for that HP up for the group and to just make Titus into like the god tier character that he can be with his own vision card. I'm also running the Siren Esper on Moore, and you can scroll down a little bit and see how this helps cover her slashing resistance. She's up to 25 with just Siren Esper on her. Look, she's also running 57 defense in this group. That is before she casts her own defense and defense resistance protection buff. The buff that protects her from defense debuff. That's hard to say, but there it is. Then, she's at 7,471 HP. She actually has the most HP in this group. She's almost as much of a tank in this group as Titus is. But you have Titus and Moore in the group to help you overcome some potential magic threats from the enemy team. Moore, going to be great against mages like she always is, and Titus is just going to be the hasting Titus Superman that he always is, and that's pretty awesome. So, I'm moving Baby J from one shoulder to the next while I try and record this, but I also want to point out a couple other things real fast. She's at 60. Moore, on the far left, is at 60 fire resistance. So rip King Mont, rip Rain, rip any of the other fire units you might run into here, especially if they're physical. She also has 105 water attack in this group. 105. That's crazy. That's crazy. Her magic stats at 935, a little bit less than Moore's at 1120, but she's going to do a ton of damage, and 88 agility is respectable. So, let me put my camera back on the screen here, and I think that you don't even have to do just that build. Like, that's a really quick build I threw together instantly, and Baby J, you can see, is super excited for that build. I do think if you wanted to go purely anti-physical, you could swap Moore out for a different mage, and instead use a mage running the Solidus Vision card to give even more slash resist if you were worried about that. Maybe put Luelle in there with the Horn Vision card for slash resist, and you'd be set. You could also run any other tank besides Titus to help cover her weaknesses. And guys, I'm not gonna lie, I think Summer Elsirelle is gonna be a unit with a ton of staying power. Let's see what Baby J thinks about that. Baby J, why don't you tell the people, give the people a thumbs up or thumbs down on Summer Elsi. What do you think, dude? What you doing? Give him a big smile. He's not even looking. Anyway, he's trying his best. He's an infant. Give him a break. Oh my God, stop trolling. Okay, anyway, that's the video, y'all. I'm in hardcore dad mode, but those stats came out, and with her dropping tomorrow, I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible. So thank you, Baby J, for being such a good boy and cooperating with the video. Thanks, buddy. You're the best. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace!